I made the name Love and Hip Hop. That's my name. When they say Love Hop, they supposed to say, man, the creator and founder, Jim Jones. I created it. It wasn't about nobody. I called Jim Ackerman like, yo, I'm ready to do reality TV. If you do a show around Chrissy, and I'll be a part of the show for the whole thing. Chrissy was supposed to do a show. It didn't go through for her. And she told Mona, yo, hold Jim down while I'm gone, play the management. I had a couple more meetings at VH1. Took Mona with me to the meeting. She went in there as my manager and left as the producer.
Oh, gosh.
Of my whole show.
What's going on?
No. I mean, that was a long time ago. He and Eve stopped dating after the videotape. No, I don't know. It's been quite some time.
Bow, bow, bow.
The room was dimly lit, the kind of vibe you'd expect in a late-night studio session. Jim Jones leaned back in his chair, a half-empty bottle of Hennessy on the table in front of him. The air was thick with the scent of weed and ambition. Across from him sat his longtime friend and business partner, Chrissy, her sharp eyes locked on him as he spoke. A small recorder blinked red between them, capturing every word. This wasn't just a casual chat. This was Jim laying it all bare, the story he'd kept bottled up for years. Man, Chrissy, you know how it is, Jim started, his voice low but heavy with conviction. Everybody out here acting like they built this empire from the ground up, but they don't know the real. Love and hip-hop, that was my vision, my grind. I was the one who saw it first. And Mona, she played me dirty. Chrissy raised an eyebrow, leaning forward.
Mona
Hold up, Jim. You saying love and hip-hop, the whole damn franchise, was your idea? Like, you pitched it? Jim nodded, taking a slow sip from his glass. Straight up, back in 2008, I was already moving in these circles, you know? I had the music, the hustle, the connections. I saw what was happening in the scene. Cats out here living wild, relationships messy, egos clashing, all that. I thought, yo, why ain't nobody putting this on TV? Not just the music, but the real shit. The drama, the love, the betrayals. All of it. He paused, his eyes narrowing as he remembered. I had this whole concept mapped out. A show that followed artists, their crews, their partners, and showed the world what it's really like behind the scenes. Not no scripted nonsense, but real people, real stories. I called it something different back then. Hustle and Heart or some shit like that. Point is, I knew it was gold. Chrissy crossed her arms, skeptical but intrigued. So how'd Mona Scott get in the picture? 'Cause last I checked, she's the one everybody calls the mastermind behind Love and Hip Hop. Jim let out a bitter laugh, shaking his head. Mona, man, she was slick. I met her through a mutual connect. Some industry cat who knew I was trying to shop this idea around. I was talking to networks, but I didn't have the polished pitch or the big-time execs in my corner. I was just a dude from Harlem with a vision.
Jeez. I mean, listen, you guys have heard me answer this. It's such an age-old question that I keep getting, and I'm hoping at some point that we are allowed to evolve beyond this. I think the cast has done an amazing job of opening up and sharing their lives, and I never got the memo.
Mona came in acting like she was gonna help me take it to the next level. She had the resume, worked with artists, knew the TV game. I trusted her. He leaned forward now, his hands gesturing wildly as the story poured out.
Very important that, the casting phase, finding people who had the kinds of stories that I knew existed in the world, but more importantly, were willing to share that. Because this kind of thing happens to us all, but we don't have to live it and experience it in front of millions of people. You take the real elements, you set it within this production construct, and then you supersize.
We had meetings, Chrissy. I'm talking late nights at her office. Me breaking down every detail. I told her how I wanted the show to feel raw, like you're in the room with these folks. I gave her names, artists, producers, even some of the women in the game who'd bring that fire. I laid out the whole blueprint. She was nodding, taking notes, acting like she was writing for me. Chrissy's eyes widened. So you basically handed her the playbook. Exactly. Jim slapped the table, the sound echoing in the quiet room. I gave her everything. And you know what she did? She took it, flipped it, and ran. Next thing I know, I'm hearing whispers about this new reality show called Love and Hip Hop. I'm thinking, maybe it's a coincidence. But then I see the promos, and it's my damn vision on the screen. The messy relationships, the studio beefs, the whole vibe. Even some of the same people I'd mentioned were on the cast. Chrissy shook her head, her lips pursed. That's cold, Jim. But how you know she didn't just come up with it at the same time? Like great minds think alike or whatever? Jim's face hardened. Nah, ain't no coincidence. I got proof. I kept the emails, the texts, the notes from our meetings. I got a paper trail, Chrissy. She was asking me for more details, acting like she was putting together a pitch for us. Then, out talk nowhere, she goes silent. Stops returning my calls. Next thing I know, the show's greenlit, and she's the executive producer. My name, nowhere to be found. He leaned back, running a hand over his face. I ain't gonna lie, it stung. I felt played. I was out here trying to build something real, something that could show the world what our culture's about. And she turned it into a circus, making bank off my idea while I'm sitting here watching it blow up without me. Chrissy was quiet for a moment, processing. So why you ain't sue her? If you got proof, why not take it to court? Jim sighed, his shoulders slumping. I thought about it, talked to a couple lawyers. But you know how this industry is, Chrissy. It's a boys' club and Mona's connected. She got the money, the lawyers, the clout. Me? I'm just Jim Jones, the rapper trying to break into TV. Plus, I didn't want to be that dude airing out dirty laundry in public. I got pride, you know? I figured I'd let it slide, keep grinding, and make my own moves. But it eats at you, don't it? Chrissy asked, her voice softer now. Hell yeah, Jim admitted. Every time I see that show pop up, it's like a knife twistin'. I'm happy for the folks who got a platform out of it, don't get me wrong, but knowing it was my idea, knowing I could have been part of something that big, that's tough to swallow. Chrissy leaned back, folding her hands behind her head. So what you gonna do now? You dropping this bomb for a reason, right? You planning to call her out? Jim smirked, a glint of mischief in his eyes. Maybe. I ain't decided yet. Part of me wants to put it all out there. Emails, texts, everything. Let the world know the truth. But another part of me just wants to move on, create something new. I got ideas, Chrissy, bigger than love and hip-hop. Shows, movies, you name it. I ain't done yet. Chrissy grinned. That's the Jim I know, always scheming, always dreaming. But if you do decide to go at Mona, you know I got your back. We can make some noise. Jim chuckled, raising his glass. To making noise then, and to never letting nobody steal our shine again. They clinked glasses, the sound cutting through the haze of the room. The recorder kept blinking, capturing the raw emotion of a man who'd been wronged but wasn't broken. Jim Jones had a story to tell, and whether he chose to shout it from the rooftops or channel it into his next big move, one thing was clear. He wasn't done fighting for his place in the game. As the night wore on, they kept talking. About the industry, about loyalty, about the hustle. Jim's voice grew steadier with every word, like he was reclaiming something he'd lost. The betrayal still stung, but it was fuel now, not a weight. And in that smoky room, with his day one by his side, Jim Jones was already plotting his comeback.